What's up, y'all? Goofy Rexy here, and hope everybody is doing well. And welcome, guys, to the weekly headliner update, week number 51. Now, if you're new to the weekly headliner, this is where we discuss what is upcoming this week in Marvel Strike Force, and then we recap the important topics from the previous week as well. We got a lot of stuff to talk about here this week. Obviously, we had Magik's event last week, which is a little bit of a letdown here. We're going to talk about that and why a lot of the players in the community feel that way about the Magik event. We have Phoenix, a legendary character that's going to be returning tonight. Her event is going to start tonight. We're going to go through that really briefly as well. We had a big interview this past weekend. Mobile Gamer and Reminex, they interviewed Cerebro, talked a lot about the Thanos Given event here. I'm going to talk about my overall evaluation on the interview, some things that really stood out to me here that I didn't necessarily like per se, but we'll go through that here in the video. And then we have a lot of new game modes coming into Marvel Strike Force, Pocket Dimension, Avengers Tower. We got a new sneak peek look at Grand Tournament. We're going to go through my evaluation on how things look so far and what impact I think that these new game modes could have here on Marvel Strike Force. But that, guys, and so much more to discuss on the weekly headliner update. And we're going to start right now. All right, y'all, welcome back. And of course, if it's your first time coming to the channel here and you would like to see some more Marvel Strike Force content, then consider hitting that subscribe button. Also, hit the notification bell so that you would know when my videos do go live. And there's a few links that are down below in the description, guys. One where you can join my Discord and become a part of the Goof Troop. There's also a few other links. One where you can follow me on Twitch, where I do stream Marvel Strike Force content on a weekly basis. There's also my links to my Twitter page, my Facebook page that are also there. I post updates throughout the week. There's a link to Amazon Coins. So I am sponsored by Amazon Coins, and that is a way that you are able to save on your Marvel Strike Force or mobile in-game purchases here. So take a look at that down below. I'm saving up to 20% on my Marvel Strike Force purchases. And of course, clicking on that link and re-upping your Amazon Coins or purchasing Amazon Coins, there's also support this channel as well. And there's also a link to my Patreon, which is also another way for you to support the channel too. But let's dive into the video, guys. The first topic I wanted to discuss, man, was the Magik event. And boy, there's always like mixed feelings, right, when it comes to a lot of these events, man. So largely, I will say this: I do feel like the event has a lot of really good stuff in it, right? Like if you go through the milestones, the season sorcery milestones here, there's a lot of really good things that are here, right? So some of the milestones that I've already collected so far, as you can see, I'm at milestone 19 right now. There's these orbs, there's training orbs, there's gold orbs, there's character shards, there's some pieces that you can get for elites, there's some promotion credits, there's some orange gear here. As you go a little bit further on through the milestones, there's this augmented teal gear, there's some ion orbs that are there as well, these blue ion orbs. So a lot of really good items that are there, right? You have some of these ornaments. You can get 3 ornaments throughout the entirety of the milestones that will help you to get some stuff there. But overall, and then of course in the store, right, there's some good stuff that you can grab in the store as well. There's, as you can see, I've grabbed a lot of teal gear so far, origin gear. I probably shouldn't have grabbed the armor catalyst, but I feel like for Dark Dimension 5, the catalysts are going to be a big deal. So I've been grabbing even every catalyst that I can probably find. And then the biggest bottleneck I think that's going to be there right now is probably Mystic gear. So I'm grabbing a lot of Origin Mystic gear as well. So there's some really good stuff that you can grab here, but the disappointing factor is how many shards can you get for Magik? And if you are a free-to-play player, the most that you can get in terms, actually, the most that you can get through the event, even if you're not a free-to-play player, the most that you can get throughout the entirety of the event is 150 shards. You are capped at 150 shards by going through all the milestones, by going through going through all the milestones, and then the ornament that you're going to be able to get from the milestones. That is going to give you a total of 150 shards, which means that you're going to be 30 shards less of being able to get a 4-star Magik, which kind of feels bad, right? And I know that for me personally, she's probably going to be a character that I'm going to unlock and most likely not invest into right away, just because I'm still working on a lot of my Doomray teams. There's this new Web Warriors team, right, that's coming out, so I'm probably going to pass and focus a little bit on that, right? But overall, man, I'm a little bit let down by this event, at least with the other events like Icarus. Yeah, that kind of sucked, but at least you were able to get a 4-star character free to play. At least with Lady Deathstrike, you were able to get a 4-star character, and if you wanted to spend some extra cores, you could get a 5-star character, right? Like these other events, Shang-Chi, you were able to get a bunch of really good items, but you were then also able to get a 4-star Shang-Chi. This does kind of feel really bad, guys, and that's kind of where I'm at right now with this event. I feel like this is a little bit of a letdown for the community. I felt like there was a better way to at least make sure and guarantee that players were able to get a 4-star version of the character, so that they could actually compete in war content. Like, unless you bought the character, you're probably not going to be able to get the shards that you want. I bought the $20 offer, so I got 40 shards. So I'll be able to, by getting the 150, I'll be 10 shards over getting a 4-star character. But if I didn't, which I know a lot of players probably didn't, they are only going to be able to get a 3-star Magik. And maybe that doesn't matter to you, but I feel like for an event like this, that was probably a little bit of a letdown for me, where that is concerned. Good items that you can get from the event, but overall feels bad you're not going to be able to at least get a 4-star character if you kind of grind through all of these milestones here. But those are kind of my thoughts. Want to know what your guys' thoughts are on that. But shifting gears here, a member, a part of her team, her legendary event is going to be tonight. That's going to be Phoenix here, right? So Phoenix is kind of in a weird spot because I feel like a lot of players probably aren't investing as much anymore, at least newer players, right, who haven't gotten Phoenix already. They're probably not investing as much, but she's now a 5-star unlock, so a little bit easier to get Mystic Villain controller characters that you can use here to grab Phoenix. There's also throughout the milestone through the Magik event, the Season Sorcery event, you're going to be able to get a 5, if you complete get through the milestones, you can get a 5 red star Phoenix as well. So that will definitely help when you're looking at your Dark Dimension and competition, things like that. That actually does help out a little bit there. So that's a good thing. But like I said, man, overall, congratulations. The event itself is not that great. Congratulations to those, though, who are going to be unlocking Phoenix. I still think that she's a good character. I'm actually considering bringing her into Dark Dimension 5 right now because, I mean, the other characters are good, but I mean, Doc Ock is a mainstay. Omega Red is good. I know Adam Warlock is going to go there for me. I know Jubilee's going to go there for me. The 5th character is kind of like, who am I going to be bringing in? I think Phoenix actually might be one of those characters I'm bringing in. The only thing that might deter me from it is probably having to get the augmented astral energy, but that's pretty much basically where I'm at. But congratulations to those who are going to be unlocking Phoenix tonight. Still a good character, still very usable in the game, just maybe not your most sought after legendary character in Marvel Strike Force. But shifting gears here, guys, we did have this interview over the past weekend, and this was an interview that our mobile gamer and Reminex did here, interviewing Cerebro. And majority of this interview talked about some of the things that we are absolutely concerned about, right? This Thanos Given event, which was incredibly terrible. It was probably the worst event, man, that we've had over the past. Dude, the event was trash, man. It was an absolutely trash event. I don't even know what to compare it to. It was a bad event, man. The Weapon X event was probably not great too. Remember that Wolverine costume one? It probably wasn't ideal, but I mean, dang it, man. Like, this was worse, right? Because it was a Thanksgiving event. We thought that this was going to be a way for them to give back to the community, and we were going to feel good about a lot of the stuff. Now, there were some good rewards there, but largely, man, the Thanos Given orbs were awful. They were awful orbs, man. They just were not good whatsoever. And then on top of that, too, like the communication about the orbs were also bad as well. So there were some questions that were asked here from Mobile. The videos on his channel, I can probably link it in the description here, but the videos on his channel here, going through, it's an 18-minute long video talking about pretty much a lot of the community feedback and how they receive feedback. And a few things just bothered me here, man. I'm not going to play the video, but a few things just bothered me here. And Mobile asked a question about how do they go about evaluating if an event was successful. And there's some of the responses, man, just really like irked me to the core, man. Like, one of the things that he said was, we can't be everywhere every time. We can't be on all the social media platforms. We can't be on Twitter. We can't be on Discord. We can't be on Facebook. We can't be on whatever, blah, blah, blah. But my thing is to this dude, like, you don't really have to be on all of them to get the sentiment that players felt about this event. From the very beginning, you could have seen the sentiment that players got about the event, man. You saw it on Discord. You didn't have to be everywhere. It was on all of the platforms. You just had to look at one of them. So to me, like, getting a response like that, hey, we can't be everywhere. We can't be at every time and scrape everything. Like, dude, come on, my guy. Like, it was, all the information was there. It was everywhere. How in the world could you say that? I don't understand, man. That bothered me. And like I said, man, Cerebro, I've communicated with Cerebro. Like, I understand what he's saying. It's just words are important, and when you say something like that, it really it makes me feel like you're not really caring about what the players are actually thinking here. Like, yes, how do you go about evaluating if an event is successful or not? Don't say something like, hey, we can't be everywhere, every time, at every place. No, say like, I don't know. I'm not gonna tell you what to say, but that's just not an adequate response for me, man. I didn't appreciate that response. And then there was another question about, hey, do you know how people felt about the Thanksgiving event? And he said, hey, trust me, we know. Like, we saw the comments. We know when how players felt. Trust me, we know. Like, for me, like, if you knew, then why was there no communication or response to say, hey, we know that the Thanksgiving event, a lot of players were upset about the Thanksgiving event because they felt as if though it wasn't appropriate for a Thanksgiving event. We felt as if though they felt like maybe potentially that there was not enough things in them, and that opened up the Thanksgiving orbs were really sort of disheartening. We felt that about. So if you know how the people felt, why has there been no communication about, hey, we know that you felt this way? Why was there no communication to say that? See, you can't say that you know how people felt and then not actually acknowledge how people felt by just saying, hey, we know. Hey, we know. Hey, we know. That doesn't make things, that's not an acceptable answer for me, Cerebro. I get what you're saying, but it's just not an acceptable answer for me, man. That's just not something that I appreciate at all. I feel like if you understood how the players really felt, then what you should have said was, I understand that the players were frustrated with this event because of XYZ. You don't have to incriminate yourself if you're worried about that, right? Hey, we understand that the players thought that there was going to be more in this event, that we thought that players were expected before a Thanksgiving event, that they felt like they were going to be honored more, that they felt like there was going to be not a grindy event, that they weren't going to have to spend a lot of money in order to be able to get through this event. We understand that during that season and implementing an event like that, this was not the best way that we should have gone about it. I just feel like that was just an inadequate answer. And another thing that really irked me too is that he said that we don't know how people will feel about the thing until the thing happens, right? Until the thing happens. We don't know how people are going to feel about the event until the event happens. And for me, like, I look at that and I'm like, so you don't have players that play your game. You don't have anybody internally that plays your game and says, hey, you know what? For the player experience, potentially this may not be the best direction to go in. There's nobody internally that just says, hey, you know what? Maybe this isn't right, man. Hey, I'm playing this game right now, and I know it's really grindy to be able to get and trying to get augmented teal gear is going to be such a grind. Like, for Thanksgiving, maybe we should do an event where we're giving them where we're not asking them to spend money to get extra augmented gear, but we're giving them some really good augmented gear here, or just something along those lines, man. I don't. So to me, this emphasizes the idea that they don't play their own game. They're not, or at least they don't play the game at the level and the competitiveness that we currently play the game. Those are just my thoughts, man. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna digress. I thought the interview was okay. I felt like my fellow comrades, man, like Mobile Rem, I love you guys, but I wish that there would have been a little bit more pushback on maybe some of the answers that we received there. I feel like maybe we kind of let them off the hook a little bit, man. Those are just my overall thoughts. Kind of on this thing here. You can watch the interview on your own. It's on Mobile Gamers channel. I'll link it in the description so you guys can get an idea here of why potentially I'm even ranting and reacting this way, but I'll leave that there. With that being said, we did get a lot of information over this past weekend in the blog post here. Some things that we already knew were coming, but then some additional items there that we didn't know were coming in. One of those items was this new game mode that's coming to Marvel Strike Force called Pocket Dimensions, and they give us a date here. So this is going to be introduced on January 14th. They mentioned this right here. So Pocket Dimension, the next great battle for strikes, top commanders, Pocket Dimension, nestle with the Dark Dimension section. These dimensions are a series of missions that require specific characters. Pocket Dimension can open at any time, so before, during, or after a milestone event, and each one can have varying amounts of changes between the previous one. For this specific dimension iteration, commanders level 65 can enter, so it's good that there are opening this up so that players who are at lower levels can actually get to enjoy this new game mode experience. I actually do like that quite a bit. They can enter, and you'll need 5 characters with the limited time Resolute Trait. So if you actually look right now in the game, the Resolute Trait is actually active in the game. I actually had this pulled up on one of the screens before I stepped in here. But if you filter out your roster and click on the Resolute Trait, you'll actually see who these characters are right now. So Cersei, who's new, she's on the list. Shuri, older character. Omega Red, Misty Knight, Star-Lord. There was a video made that built up Star-Lord now, so Star-Lord actually does have some value here because he's a character there. Miles, there's Groot, there's Strange, there's Storm, Black Panther. There's Yondu, who just got a rework, right? Red Skull, She-Hulk, and of course, new character Magik, right? That is there in Scarlet Spider that's going to be coming in the next couple of weeks. His event is going to be around the corner, so I think his event is most likely going to be before, or at least the offers for Scarlet Spider is most likely going to be out before this Pocket Dimension thing goes live. So yeah, so you use the Resolute characters. There are no other specific requirements, but we recommend powering up your Resolute characters a fair amount, as this will be challenging to a point, right? Because if you're allowing level 65 characters to enter in, I'm assuming it's going to be challenging to a point, or maybe they have different difficulty tiers that they haven't mentioned here yet. And just like Dark Dimension, you can use dark health packs or power cores to heal or revive characters who were eliminated during battle. You'll receive rewards, first time rewards, and then you're also going to have timed run rewards as well. And then Pocket Dimension rewards will include fully crafted teal gear and orange gear. That's a big deal, dude. Fully crafted gear, that's really good. Catalyst parts, silver promotion credits, gold promotion credits, gold, and then also more. So Pocket Dimension, new game mode, looks like it's going to be kind of cool here. For me, like the biggest thing is I'm always concerned about screen time, but I'm less concerned about screen time if the actual game mode within itself is fun, right? If the game mode is fun, dude, I honestly really don't care about the screen time, because I'm enjoying my experience, right? Like, that's really the big deal, right? If I'm enjoying my experience, if I feel like it's worth it to level up my roster, then sure, I'll do it. But if it's not fun, if it just feels like a grindy game mode again, then that's when I lose my interest. So I'm hoping that this is going to be fun game mode. Looks like it probably could be. Avengers Tower event, not going to go through this. We already talked about this at length, I think, in a previous video. We talked about it through the data mines. Not much has really changed with the data mines here. All the things are pretty much basically the same. The 50 floors where you can get all the milestones, and you have the floors after that where a little bit more is at stake here, where if you lose a matchup, you can get dropped back down to floor 51. You can only use one character. You can only use a character once per day. After that, they go on cooldown. So all those things are there. We do get a little bit more information now on the rewards, which is going to be teal gear. We didn't have this information before in the data mines, but the rewards are going to include teal, orange, purple, blue gear, and blue gear, I'm assuming, is like your ISOs. Ability materials, gold, and then more. Now, no date is given on when this is going to go live. I feel like they just addressed this because it was something that was data mined, and they probably felt like they needed to address it, so they addressed it here. And yeah, so that's probably the reason why they mentioned it. So no date on that. Pocket Dimension has a date, but no date on this yet. But like I said, I originally was concerned about having to build out a wider roster. I think the wider roster aspect only matters before you get, like, maybe the first day and probably the second day. But I think after that, once you start going to floor 51 and higher, that most likely it's just going to be about having those top tier teams that can deal with those more difficult and challenging matchups, which ultimately could be fun, right? So that's the biggest thing for me, is as long as it's a fun game mode. And then they talked about Grand Tournament as well. This is something that was mentioned in the 2021 preview in the second half. It was first announced, brand new game mode internally called Grand Tournament. They have started production on it already, which is good. They give us a little picture of what that's going to look like here. The team is currently deep in development of this feature, but we do but we do have an exciting new detail to share with you today. This new game mode will feature the first new combat environment in a long while and will prominently feature the powerful cosmic entity, the Living Tribunal. Now, what I know about the Living Tribunal, not a crazy amount, to be honest with you. From my understanding, he's like a really old character, he's a character that's been around since the beginning of time. And essentially what his job was to protect the multiverse, or to keep the balance between all the different verses. That's all the alternate universes. That was my understanding of what the Living Tribunal is. So you can see the picture here. This is like the Living Tribunal right here. You can see that you're kind of doing the battle, and this is like kind of what things look like here in this matchup. So this is kind of like a sneak preview of what things are going to look like in 2022, which once again look pretty cool, man. Like I said, man, anything that encourages fun in the game, I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it coming to Marvel Strike Force. I'm going to start preparing my roster right now. I feel like the quick summary on this is like, or the quick action plan for this to prepare for these game modes is ultimately start building out your roster, right? Start building out a wider roster, start investing into some of those characters that maybe potentially you hadn't invested into before. Some of these new rework characters, bring them up to like level 65 gear tier 12, bring them up to 71 gear tier 12, do it slowly over time. Obviously first primarily focus on your arena team, focus on your raid team, focus on your dark dimension teams, but after that, focus on building out some of these older teams that maybe you're not using as much anymore, so that you can be prepared and put into a position where you can actually do this. If you're obviously at level 60, level 65, then your focus are going to be more so just getting through the content that you need to get through, not necessarily focus on building out a wider roster here, but maybe this will encourage you to put some more resources into if you have it. The other concern is always just, hey, are we going to be able to get enough resources to be able to build out our roster? But of course, I feel like, once again, if this is a fun game mode, I feel like people will be encouraged to build out their roster, right? So I'm hoping that that's ultimately going to be something that we're going to be looking at here moving forward. So a lot of really good stuff in the blog post here. I'm excited about that stuff here. Some other stuff to talk about this week. Well, first and foremost, preparing for Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock's legendary event is going to be next week. That's one of the big highlights here. In this is that this is going to be next week Monday is going to be the legendary event for Adam Warlock. So start preparing yourself right now. I actually just highlighted my Polaris and my multiple man. I'm going to be bringing them up to level 75, gear tier 14, and getting yourself prepared to be able to unlock or start up your character. Just start doing that now. Remember that this is a mythic legendary event, so level, gear tier, and ISOs are also important as well. Also pay attention to what you need in order to be able to get to achieve the success at the different tier that you need to in order to be able to get that going for you. And then one of the highlights here, so the blitzes for this week are going to be, I'm missing it here. So Graviton is going to be, his blitz is going to be tonight. And then on Thursday, the blitz is going to be for, why am I missing this? So then the third, the cold as Ice Blitz slides into your next opportunity to show up. So Iceman's Blitz is going to be on Thursday. But a big thing that I thought that came out of this blog post here is that they're going to be pushing Ghost Spider's Blitz. We originally thought that Ghost Spider's Blitz was going to be sometime this week, and we were kind of not happy about that, obviously, because this was going to be Christmas week for us, right? And we kind of all just want to chill out a little bit. But they're push Ghost Spider's Blitz now. That is going to be on January 6th, which is going to be the first Thursday of January, right? So January 6th, the first Thursday of January. So it looks like we get some time to kind of relax here and not have a character blitz. So kind of get ourselves geared up here for Ghost Spider's Blitz. That's going to be showing up sometime here on next week, Thursday, on the first Thursday of January. So that's pretty much basically it. We do have Payday Flash event this week as well. So I'm going to be able to collect some of the extra gold that I know that a lot of us need here too. Double drops for the characters that you need to unlock Adam Warlock as well. So listen, appreciate the heck out of you guys. A lot of stuff to cover this week here. Like I said, man, Magik's event, a little bit of a letdown here. Cerebro's interview. There's just a lot of stuff, man, that just didn't really sit well with me there. Excited for these new game modes that are coming into Marvel Strike Force. Looks like we're going to have to start building out a wider roster here. Hopefully this is going to be worth it and fun, and the rewards are going to be good as well. But yeah, just curious to hear what your guys' thoughts are. Leave it in the comments. Appreciate you guys watching the video. And of course, until next time, y'all be blessed and y'all be safe. Also, have a Merry Christmas if I don't talk to you guys as well. You guys are amazing. Thank you.